Hey guys, I'm on for Project Spot and welcome to week 36 of the Premier League review. If you are new to the series, what we do is we take a look at the past set Premier League results, we take a look at the Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 28th, Sunday the 29th, and Monday the 30th of April 2018. Also next to the games are the times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific match, just go to the time next to the game and you'll skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We start with Crystal Palace versus Leicester. Crystal Palace took the lead in the 17th minute when Wilfried Zaha found the net. Great goal as well as Ruben Loftus-Cheek gave it to James McArthur. McArthur then backheeled it into the path of Zaha, who side-footed into the roof of the net from 15 yards out. And Palace doubled their lead 20 minutes later when James McArthur got the goal. Roles were reversed as Wilfried Zaha set it up as his ball found McArthur basically on the penalty spot. McArthur had options available but he instead chose to swivel around and bury a low effort past the keeper. And things would go from bad to worse for Leicester when they were reduced to 10 men 15 minutes into the second half. It came from Wilfried Zaha poked the ball away from Mark Albrighton, who was technically the last man, but Zaha is so far away from goal, and to make up for his mistake, Albrighton basically rugby tackled Zaha to the ground and Mike Dean showed him a straight red card. And Palace wrapped the game up in the 80th minute when they made it 3-0 through Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It came when centre-back Mamadou Sakho played a lovely ball through to Loftus-Cheek. He dropped the shoulder, got away from his man, took it around the keeper and slotted home. And Palace got their fourth 3 minutes later when Palace sliced through the Leicester backline with ease. It ended up with Ben Hamer saving a shot by Jeffrey Schlupp, but he's miles off his line when it comes back to Patrick Van Aanholt and he steered it home from outside the box. And Palace got the perfect chance to get their fifth in the 89th minute when they were given a penalty when Christian Benteke went down under pressure from Harry Maguire and the ref pointed to the spot. Christian Benteke stepped up to take it, and even though he slipped as he took it, it still went down the middle as the big Belgian scored only his third league goal of the season. And that is how the game ended. Palace absolutely bounced Leicester. They looked better in literally every area of the pitch. It didn't help that Leicester were reduced to 10 men, but it was the right call. Like I said, Albrighton basically rugby tackled Zaha. Palace were by far the better side, and although it's not 100% guaranteed, this win probably has secured Palace's place in the Premier League for next season. And we move on to West Ham versus Manchester City. Man City took the lead 10 minutes into the match when Young Player of the Year Leroy Sané opened the scoring. West Ham were playing a deep line, but City didn't bother trying to break it as Leroy Sané hit an effort from about 20 yards out and at a tight angle as well. Adrian was probably getting to it, but a hefty deflection off of Patrice Evra took it past the keeper and into the opposite corner. And City doubled their lead 15 minutes later when West Ham players decided to score for them. Adrian came out of goal to collect the ball from Sterling. He buggered it up. Sterling's shot was blocked by Ogbonna. Kevin De Bruyne then swung a low cross into the box. Adrian poured it into a very dangerous area, and Declan Rice was wrong-footed as it hit the young defender, then bounced off of Pablo Zabaleta and into their own net. But West Ham going to go back on the brink of half-time when Aaron Cresswell got the goal. It was a free kick on the edge of the box and Cresswell stepped up to take it as he curled his free kick up and over the wall and into the net at the near post. Oh, and by the way, this was a penalty. The contact was miles inside the box, but neither the ref or the liner spotted it somehow, but luckily for them, West Ham scored from it, otherwise there would have been hell on. But Man City retook their 2-goal lead 5 minutes into the second half when Gabriel Jesus made it 3-1. Raheem Sterling had the ball in the box and the wide man did well to hold it up and wait for backup, and he got that in the form of Jesus as Sterling cut the ball back. The Brazilian took a touch before slotting it past Adrian. And Man City got their fourth in the 63rd minute when Fernandinho joined in on the goal scoring fun. Horrible defending from West Ham as they lost the ball in their own half, and it was actually Fernandinho who made the initial tackle. He slipped it to Raheem Sterling. Sterling gave it back to the midfielder and he swept the cup back home. And that's how the game ended. Man City could have scored double what they did. It wasn't a good show for West Ham, who just allowed City to open them up far too often. Man City put 4 past the irons, and that took their goal tally in the Premier League this season up to 102 goals, one away from equaling the record of 103. And I think we all know that they are going to smash that record, along with a plethora of records that they have already broken, and there are still some more that they are definitely going to break as well. And we move on to Manchester United versus Arsenal. Man United took the lead in the 17th minute when Paul Pogba got his 6th goal of the season. It started as United broke and it was 3-on-3. Romelu Lukaku dinked the ball towards the back post. Alexis Sanchez meets it with his head. Hector Bellerin did brilliantly on the line to divert it onto the post, but there was nothing he could do about the rebound as Paul Pogba fired the loose ball into the roof of the net. And Arsenal levelled the game up 5 minutes into the second half when Henrik Mkhitaryan got a goal against his former club. Granit Xhaka won the ball back high up the pitch. He poked it past Chris Smalling and into the path of Mkhitaryan. He shot early through the legs of Victor Lindelof and into the far corner. But Man United won the game in the 90th minute when Marwan Fellaini got a late goal. Constant attacks for United as they were pumping balls into the box towards Fellaini, and this one worked as Ashley Young crossed it from deep right into the middle of the box, and Fellaini just had to flick the ball towards goal, and it's right in the corner past David Ospina. And that's how the game ended. Late heartbreak for Arsenal as Wenger's last game at Old Trafford with Arsenal ends with a tree getting the final goal. Arsenal look set to pick up their first away point of 2018, but a late goal took that away as Man United not only picked up the win, they also mathematically guaranteed a top 4 finish. And we move on to Southampton versus Bournemouth. Southampton took the lead in the 25th minute just after they were defending for their lives, and then away they go as a ball was headed clear and Mario Lemina switched on the afterburners and he was off as he sprinted into the Bournemouth half. He played a lovely little pass into the path of Dusan Tadic and Tadic slotted home. But Bournemouth levelled the game up on the brink of half time when Joshua King got the goal. It came from a corner that was flicked on at the near post and no one was marking King at the back post as the ball travelled all the way to him and he whacked it into the net. But Southampton retook the lead 10 minutes into the second half when Dusan Tadic got his and Southampton's second of the match. Just came from a massive boot up the field. Bournemouth don't deal with it as Tadic lashed onto it. He drove forward towards the edge of the box and basically toe-poked the ball into the bottom corner. And that's how the game ended. A huge win for Southampton, which sees them take a massive step towards safety. They're not out of it yet, but they are only 1 point away from getting out of that bottom 3. It was a nervous start for Southampton, but Tadic reduced the tension at St Mary's, but it wasn't helped when they conceded with Bournemouth's first shot on target of the game. But twice in the match, Tadic reduced tension. Alex McCarthy had to make 2 great saves late in the match for the Horse, as Southampton pick up a huge win in their quest for survival. And we move on to Huddersfield versus Everton. Everton took the lead completely against the run of play 5 minutes from half time. Huddersfield had more of the ball in the first half, but they switched off for a second as Theo Walcott played it through to Saint Tosun on the right hand side of the box and hit a low shot, a cross goal that found the net. And Everton doubled their lead 10 minutes from full time when Idrissa Gueye got the goal. It came from a cross from the right hand side. It was touched down by Leighton Baines into the path of Gueye, who drilled his shot low into the bottom corner from outside the area. And that is how the game ended. Huddersfield could have done with a win here because I think they could be one of the outsiders to go down. They're only 3 points above the drop zone and they have probably the hardest set of games of all of their relegation battling counterparts. Listen to this. Huddersfield have got 3 games left and those 3 games are against Arsenal, Chelsea and champions Manchester City. Now ask yourself this, can Huddersfield get anything from these games? Answer is yes, but will they get anything? Answer is probably no. Huddersfield desperately need other results to go their way in the coming weeks as Everton, despite the fan protests, picked up quite a comfortable win in the end. And we move on to Tottenham versus Watford. Tottenham took the lead 15 minutes into the match when Tottenham capitalised on a horrible goalkeeping error. Kieran Trippier whipped the ball in and it was a good cross, but a relatively easy catch for Canizes in the Watford net, but he somehow spilled it right into the path of Christian Eriksen. He laid it off to Dele Alli, who took a touch before firing home. And Spurs doubled their lead 2 minutes into the second half when Harry Kane got his 27th league goal of the season. It started with a cross from the left side that Son Heung-min whipped in the middle for Kane. He couldn't get onto that one, but the ball ran through to the other side for Kieran Trippier, who put it back into the middle, right onto the foot of Harry Kane, who cushioned it into the back of the net. And that's how the game ended. Tottenham looked quite poor for a majority of the first half, as leading up to half time, Watford could have easily had 2 goals, but they were denied both times by Hugo Lloris, who had a decent game between the sticks. Harry Kane's goal at the start of the second half really eased the tension around Wembley as Tottenham picked up the comfortable win. And we move on to Swansea versus Chelsea. Chelsea took the lead early on in the match as only 5 minutes into the match they took the lead when Cesc Fabregas became only the 3rd Spaniard to score 50 Premier League goals. It came from a Swansea mistake as they gave the ball away on the halfway line to N'Golo Kante. He gave it to Eden Hazard, who skipped past his man and came forward. He then laid it off in the box to Fabregas, who curled it into the net first time. And that's the game ended. A pretty scrappy game in Wales. Swansea held their own against Chelsea, with them arguably having the best chance of the game. A win for Chelsea kept their dreams of top 4 alive. However, they do need a pretty much flawless record in their final few games, but it's still possible. What is also possible is Swansea going down. They are only 1 point above the bottom 3 after Southampton won. Swansea do have some massive games coming up with them playing both Southampton and Stoke in their last 2 games, so it's all still to play for both sides. And we move on to Newcastle versus West Brom. West Brom went into this knowing that anything but a win and they were down, and they put up a fight as they took the lead on the half-hour mark. Route 1 stuff. Jake Livermore with the ball over the top to Matt Phillips. He raced past the defence and smashed his effort past the keeper. And that's how the game ended. What has Darren Moore done to this West Brom side? Surely they can't, can they? Surely they can't. There's no way. They can't. Newcastle looked really poor in this game, and after guaranteeing their survival, they appeared to have switched off a bit, with them losing back-to-back games for the first time all year. All of the normally good players for Newcastle looked off of their game. John Joe Shelvey, Matt Ritchie and Kennedy all went missing as West Brom picked up a win. And we move on to Burnley versus Brighton. Burnley could have secured 7th place in this game and Europa League football next season if they won here, as that and Leicester's loss at Palace would have done it, but not to worry, Burnley fans, all you need is one more point and you've got it. Burnley had 2 handball appeals, both of which were turned away, and both were the right call for me. Brighton aren't safe just yet, but they do sit 5 points above the drop zone with a match in hand against some of the teams around them. And finally, we've got Liverpool versus Stoke. Absolute joke of a match. Referee Andre Marinette needs to be taken into a field and put down. Missed a blatant handball. What's worse, if the ball didn't hit his hand, the ball was headed to Moreno 2 yards out from goal. Stoke parked the bus from the get-go. Mohamed Salah did try and punch a player, but you know, who cares? Just have it. Stoke didn't deserve anything from this game. Enjoy the championship, you cunt. So that's all the games I've got for this time. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with the Premier League table. Starting with top 5, and as you can see, Man City carried on winning after they put 4 past West Ham. Man United are second, and they have secured a top 4 finish after beating Arsenal. Liverpool are third after a ball draw with Stoke. Tottenham are fourth after they beat Watford, and Chelsea make up the top 5 following a narrow win at Swansea. Moving on to the bottom 5, and West Brom are on the bottom, and they have reduced the gap a little bit, but it's still likely they'll go down after a win over Newcastle. Stoke are 19th after their draw at Anfield. Southampton took a huge step towards safety after a massive win over Bournemouth. Swansea are 17th after losing to Chelsea, and Huddersfield make up the bottom 5 following their loss to Everton. Moving on to the top goal scorers, and as you can see, Mohamed Salah is still on top despite not scoring against Stoke. He's on 31 goals. Harry Kane did score against Watford. He moved up to 27 goals. Sergio Aguero is injured. He's going to stay on 21 goals for the season. Raheem Sterling didn't get a goal against West Ham, but he did get like 3 assists, so he's on 18 goals. And Jamie Vardy's Leicester side were smashed by Palace. He didn't find the net, and he stays on 17 goals. Right, so that's all I got for this time. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new, and I'll be back next Tuesday for the next episode of the Premier League review. If you want to follow my personal Twitter, the link is in the description. If you want to follow us on Twitter to stay up to date about when we go live or upload a video, the link is in the description as well, or it's at portionofsport_. Big week this week. Tonight we've got a live stream of the Champions League second leg between Real and Bayern Munich. Tomorrow, Roma versus Liverpool. Thursday, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal. Join us for those games. But anyway, if you missed last episode, that'll be popping on your screen about now, along with a link to the channel so you can subscribe. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I will see you soon.